Hey guys, my name is Jack. I just want to do a quick introduction video on what I'm doing here. So recently, a bunch of my friends have gotten RVs, and they've been camping, and we went out there with them. We don't have uh, we don't have an RV. We only have a little Toyota Tacoma truck. So I've been pretty jealous. So I've decided to go ahead and make myself a teardrop trailer. Now, this is not the first one that I've built. I built one roughly about 7, 8 years ago, and we loved it. It lasted about 2 years before I decided to tear it down and use the trailer for something else. But it was a great learning experience, and here's the reason why I want to do this series of videos and share with you guys. Main thing was because I want to share the experience, share some of the lessons I've learned from the past teardrop that I made, and now with the technology and the new skills that I've gathered for the past 7 years, 8 years or so, it's going to make things a lot easier. So this video, going back to it, like I said, I want to share with you guys what I've learned and how I'm doing it differently now, 7 to 8 years later. So now I'm not a professional woodworker or video maker, as a matter of fact. So don't expect these videos to be perfect and blah blah blah. I know there's a bunch of haters out there, and you guys are gonna clown on it, but that's okay. All I care about is just sharing some of these videos, some of the process I'm making, that I'm doing, and some of the skills that I know that I can share with the world. So yeah, so leave a comment if you want to. If it helps you, great. If it didn't, sorry. That's the best I can do. If you have suggestions on how I can do some of my things in a better way or easier or whatever the case might be, please feel free to leave a comment on the bottom too. So now let me share with you a couple of the important points that I've learned from building my first trailer. The first thing that you have to worry about, or you need to start thinking about, is what size trailer you would like to build. Now, the most common ones are 4x8, 5x8, and 5x10s and whatnot, right? So, assuming that you want to build your first one kind of cheap, a little bit cheaper, a little bit more simple because it's your first one, just to try it out, right? 4x8 trailer can be purchased from, let's say, Harbor Freight for roughly about $300 or $350, depending on what size wheels you want to go with. Now, the one that I am building right now, or about to building right now, is a 5x8 trailer from Northern Tool website, and that cost me roughly about $550, $600. I've had it for actually quite some years. I've been using it as a utility trailer. So now I'm tearing it all out and laying all the new flooring and such like that. You just have plank wood on there. That's a utility trailer. So I'm yanking all that stuff out, putting a new flooring in it, and using it as a base of my coming up teardrop trailer. Now, why is that important? A full-size bed will be able to fit in a 4x8. And when you have a 5x8, you can now fit a queen-size bed. So I have a 11-month-old baby. So we kind of could use that extra foot, little room, so that all three of us, my wife, my kid, and I, we can all sleep in there a little bit more comfortably. Now, going back to it, a lot of people are okay with 4x8 because they might be by themselves, or they might be a little bit, let's say, smaller people, for lack of a better word. I'm kind of wide, not the smallest dude around, so I can use that little extra room. Now, the biggest concern with 4x8 and a 4-foot wide versus 5-foot wide is when you step over to the 5-foot range, your material tends to cost a little bit more, and here's the reason why. Majority of the plywood, for example, that we purchase from local Home Depot or Lowe's and such like that, they come in 4x8. So if you actually have a 5x8 trailer, you kind of have to double your material costs, majority of it, not all, and you're gonna have a lot of waste. For example, making the floor, instead of just laying a 4x8 sheet on the trailer, on a 4x8 trailer, now you're building a 5x8. Now you need to have two sheets of 4x8 married together, and you need to also build a frame underneath it to make sure it's structural sound and a little bit stronger, and also it does no leak in the seam, right? It needs to be a little bit tighter. So something to think about. And also obviously not just the flooring, also the roof up on top. 5x8, going back to it, you always have to figure out how to do that one extra foot, right? Now I've seen people where they do two big sheets. Some people do side by side, where they use, you get the point. You can figure it out. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with a 5x8 trailer, 5 foot wide trailer. You're gonna spend a little bit more money on material. Second thing that I've learned: if this is your first trailer that you're building or first teardrop that you're building, one of my recommendation is make it simple. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. A lot of us will run into this. I ran into it. You build something, and you're building this trailer. You're planning it out. Before you know it, you're gonna think about, let's say, the galley. Oh, I want a shelf. Should I have a pull-out shelves? Should I have, the cabinetry doors and such like that? My advice to you is make your trailer or make your camper as simple as possible. You have seen, we all have seen some of the cheaper base model of companies that make teardrop. They're very, very simple. They don't even have a gallery door in the back. They're basically just a box with two windows and one door, and that is it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Make it as simple as possible. It is kind of hard to, let's say, hold back, because everything is oh, you know what, while I'm at it, maybe I'll just add $100 and do this. While I'm at it, instead of making one door, let's do two doors or two windows or and such. Now there's nothing wrong with that if you can, if you know you can do it, if you believe in your skills, you have the experience and the skills to do a pretty good job of it, then by all means do it. Take the chance, right? Now, but for those who have never done it before, I would recommend making it as simple as possible, cheap as possible, and here's the main reason why. Is your first one. The first one sucks. Most of the time it sucks. You're gonna find out its flaws. You're gonna realize, okay, this was a bad design and whatnot. The curvature is hard. The curvature is not right. It's too tight, so now everything kinks, or whatever the case might be, right? Or you didn't do a good job on sealing it, so now it's leaking and whatnot. So basically, that's what happened to my first teardrop trailer that I built. I didn't seal it good enough. So now we live here in Arizona. It barely rains. I think it rained 2 days this year. So moisture is not really that bad of a issue here. But anywho, there was a little leak in the interior wall. I didn't seal it good enough. So the first teardrop that I built, I knew that it was going to be kind of crappy, so I kept it cheap, kept it simple, so it didn't hurt as much when I had to tear it back down. And the reason why I decided to tear it back down, because I knew my second one was going to be better, and plus I got 2 years use out of the first one, so I thought it was well worth it. I think I spent maybe about $1,000 on building the first one, so it's not that bad. So make it simple, keep it cheap, knowing that you might run into some flaws or something difficult and it doesn't turn out as well as you want it to. So just keep it in mind. As long as you have that in the back of your mind, you're okay. Now, the third point that I've learned is use your resources. Nowadays there's so many tutorial videos. Like the one I'm making right now is on YouTube. You can find them on YouTube, you can find them on Google. People write blogs on how they do their trailer, right? And Facebook group is also a really, really good resource. Join some of the teardrop groups, or there's quite a few that I actually in, and just to see how other people are doing it, right? And you might learn a thing or two. I've learned a lot, and different ideas. You might think, oh, this is the only shape, or this is the only way. But when you start looking at how other people do their stuff, you realize, oh wait, that guy's is really smart, and that is a way more simple way to do it. So Facebook group, YouTube, like I said, YouTube especially, they have a lot of people who documented their build from literally nothing till the end, and they're more than happy to answer questions, because at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is just share our knowledge and pass on what we know, right? So here's the last point. Number 4 is just do it, just try it, right? Once you plan it out, okay, do the best that you can, because going back to it, you've never done it before. This is going to be your first trailer. Just do the planning as well as you can, and just execute, right? Because it doesn't matter how well you plan this thing, you're gonna run into obstacles, and you're gonna have to overcome it anyways. So once you plan it, you think it's pretty good, just don't spend months and years trying to plan on this teardrop. Just do it. Just go out, buy a couple pieces of wood. You can always quit, right? So, and I mean, I don't suggest you quitting, but go buy the trailer. If you don't have one, and if you do have one, shoot, go buy a couple of pieces of plywood, start cutting things up, or start executing the plan, or the blueprint that you have designed, and see how it turns out, right? So that's what I did. I did all the wood and stuff like that. I waited to order the doors, because I couldn't figure out if I was gonna make the doors or just go buy the prefab ones, where the installation is literally like 5-10 minutes, right? And keep an eye on Craigslist or Facebook deal. I come across quite a few where I was able to purchase, let's say, windows from people who didn't do their build or whatever and whatnot. So that will be a way to save you money. But yeah, go out and try it. Chances are, I'm going to share with you guys some of the mistake that I'll be running into with my teardrop. So it is what it is, right? Unless you do this for a living, unless you do this day in, day out, you've done a dozen of them, it's not going to go right. So who cares, right? Just go try it, have fun with it. So if you have any questions, or comment below, shoot me an email, whatever the case might be. And so if you enjoy this video, subscribe, start following me so I can start uploading videos and you can see my progress. And I'll see you in the next one.